Students, welcome to the morning session of Psychology Lecture 3. In this session, we are going to continue with Chapter 2 which we were doing in our last class, that is on Saturday, and today is Monday, and there is only a week's time, or we can also say there is only 6 days left for your exam, and this is your high time to prepare for the exam. So let's continue with the continuation with the explanation of the important topics that is from Chapter 2, and this is the last slide for Chapter 2, and after that we will be continuing with Chapter 3. Hope you all are engaged in your preparation in a religious manner and in a minute way. आज का सेशन क्या है, हम लोग चैप्टर 2 का लास्ट स्लाइड, जो लास्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट 3 पॉइंट्स है, वो डिस्कस करने जा रहे हैं. और जैसे आप लोगों ने द अर्लियर टू लेक्चर्स, लेक्चर 1 एंड लेक्चर 2 ऑन साइकोलॉजी आप लोगों ने थॉरोली पढ़ा है या आप लोगों ने थॉरोली समझा है, उसी तरह हम लोग ये सेशन भी कंटिन्यू करेंगे फॉर योर हेल्प, सो दैट यू ऑल कैन अंडरस्टैंड. One more thing I just want to add here is that yesterday it was Mother's Day. It was a special day for everyone, but along with that it is also essential, it was an important day because in the NTA website all your exam centers has been disclosed, or the list is out. So please keep a track with the NTA website samarth.nic.in, so that you can get all the informations in relation to your CUET undergraduate exam and in relation to your admit cards or your hall tickets, which will be published or which will be out by 18th. So today is 15th, and only this 5 days or 6 days is left for your exam. So let's start. So this is the last slide for chapter 2. Now we were continuing, we did till the last session, we did till here, that is self-report measures, that is multifaceted, Minnesota multifaceted test. Then we got Essence personality test, and then we have the 16 PF test. After that we are going to discuss the projective techniques. So projective techniques are few techniques which are very much in relation to the psychologists who were discussing or who had researched work on these techniques of psychological interpretation. So the first one is Rorschach-Inkblot test. So Rorschach-Inkblot test, from the term itself, inkblot, what you can understand is there are some in reference to your class 12 standard book, you can understand that what kind of pictures can be made with the help of some ink blots. So here what you have 10 sheets of 10 colors. Out of the 10 you have 10 ink blots, out of which there are 5 ink blots which are black and white. Out of that you have 3 which are in red color and 2 in pastel color, that means very light color. So on the basis of these ink blots, you need to put some ink. There are 2 stages. The first stage is the performance stage, and next one is the inquiry stage. So these are the 2 stages of Rorschach-Inkblot test, where a few ink drops are put on a piece of paper and it is pressed, and after that, when it is opened or when it is kept in front of the patient is asked to describe that ink blot, or on the basis of the patient's interpretation of the ink blots, the patient may understand it or define it or symbolize it with some structures or with some creatures or with some kind of vague images. So depending on that, what you need, you can understand. Being a psychologist or a psychotherapist, you can understand what kind of problem the patient has. Okay, that is the inkblot test. Next we have the thematic apperception test. So it is, the spelling is actually thematic apperception test, or we can also say, what is the acronym? The acronym is TET. Now thematic apperception test is frequently asked in your exam, and who are the 2 propounders or psychologists? They are Morgan and Murray. So Morgan and Murray are the two psychologists who gave the concept of thematic apperception test. Now, what they did, they gave, according to them, they have 30 sheets or page or images, and the patient is asked, the patient is given one single image and one single card. This card, there are 30 cards, and the patient is given a single card, and the patient is asked to describe or interpret that picture. So if you go to your 12th standard book, and in this chapter, that is chapter 2, you will see that there is a picture with a person, with a picture with a lady, and behind that there is another lady. That means we can say that here is a concept of dual understanding of the two pictures, or the dual identity of a single person. So depending on that, we understand that this thematic apperception test is a kind of a test which is based on some kind of themes, and these themes are actually which is mentioned in the cards itself. And how many number of cards are there? There are 30 number of cards, and in Rorschach-Inkblot it is 10. So do remember this, because it is frequently asked in your exam. It may be in the form of a simple direct question, or it may be in the form of a match the following. After that, we have Rosenwick picture frustration test. So this is also a kind of a test which is based on your picture frustration. So it is not 16 PF, it is Rosenwick PF test. So it is picture frustration test, where a person is actually given some kind of pictures, and on the basis of the pictures, the person is given a situation where he is actually frustrated, or prior to that he has undergone some kind of frustration, and he is given some pictures in that opportune moment, and he is asked to describe that picture. So in relation to frustration, what kind of an explanation a person can have after having a fit of frustration, so that is explained in this, that is picture frustration test. आप लोगों को ये क्या है, Rorschach-Inkblot test में 10 cards मिलते हैं, 10 cards, and that are on the basis of that हम लोग as a psychiatrist or as a psychologist हम लोग एक patient को explain करने देते हैं. सेम सिचुएशन हम लोगों को टेट में भी है, दैट इज़ थीमेटिक एपरसेप्शन टेस्ट, जो दो साइकोलॉजिस्ट ने निकाला था, वो है मॉर्गन एंड मूरे. तो क्वेश्चंस ऐसे भी आते हैं, हु प्रोपाउंडेड द कंसेप्ट ऑफ थीमेटिक एपरसेप्शन टेस्ट, और मॉर्गन एंड मूरे इज रिलेटेड विथ विच टेस्ट. सो ऐसे क्वेश्चंस उल्टा पुल्टा करके दे सकते हैं. डिपेंडिंग ऑन योर अंडरस्टैंडिंग यू नीड टू क्लिक द करेक्ट ऑप्शन. यहाँ पे और एक बात है, द थर्ड वन इज PF टेस्ट. सो PF टेस्ट इज द पिक्चर फ्रस्ट्रेशन टेस्ट, वेयर ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ योर फ्रस्ट्रेशन आप लोगों को एक पिक्चर डिस्क्राइब करने देंगे. सो इन Rorschach-Inkblot टेस्ट वहाँ पे 10 कार्ड्स थे. इन थीमेटिक एपरसेप्शन टेस्ट देर आर 30 कार्ड्स. ओके, नेक्स्ट वी हैव द sentence completion test. So here again we have a set of sentences made from the psychological point of view, and from the psychological point of view the patient is given a few sentences and asked to complete those sentences according to his understanding, his or her understanding. So depending on that, again we need to understand a person's way of explaining himself or expressing himself, in which way he can do that. So it is the completion of the sentence or the break of the sentence, or you can also say the improper or incorrect or incomplete sentences also help us to understand the psychological difference or the psychological disorder a patient is undergoing, because sentence एक important stage है जहाँ पे हम लोग अगर अपने वाक्य को कंप्लीट या वी कैन ऑल्सो से हेल्दी वे में एक्सप्रेस नहीं कर सकते, और इन वन सेंटेंस वी कांट एक्सप्रेस, तो वो भी एक प्रॉब्लम या डिसऑर्डर में हम लोग आइडेंटिफाई कर सकते हैं. नेक्स्ट वी हैव the last one, that is draw a picture test, which is very simple from the psychological point of view, because a patient is asked to draw a picture, and whenever there is a reference to whenever a person is not being able to actually give the full picture, that is with eyes, nose, lips, mouth, cheeks, ears, then we understand that a person is having some kind of problem to face a person, to interact with a person, or to get in a social intermingling or communion. So that is absent when you understand that a patient is not being able to draw the perfect picture of that concerned, of anyone, whoever the patient is drawing, he is not being able to draw the person's face. So one more thing is that in your Rorschach Inkblot test, thematic apperception test and your PF test, Indian psychologists have given a great, they have contributed to their work, and there are a lot of names mentioned in your 12th standard book, where you can understand that even psychologists, Indian psychologists, are at par with the foreign psychologists, because they have too worked for the development of this psychological projective test. One of the name is in your thematic apperception test, that is Uma Chaudhary, and in your PF test, that is picture frustration study test, we have Parikh. So these two persons are from Indian psychological background, so they are concerned with the psychological development or with the psychological research that they have done from the Indian standard point of view. So this is the projective techniques. Next we have the halo effect. So halo effect is something which is very important for your exam, because it is frequently asked. And what is halo effect? So halo effect, from the term itself, what is halo? We need to identify what is halo. Halo means something which is not very clear, but there is something at your background or at the back of your brain or the back of your picture. So anything which has something blur image at your background or at your back side or at your back front, so that is the halo. Now halo effect is something which is very cloudy, or we can say which is in relation to some kind of clouds. So you are in between, I myself or you yourself. So I is there, so that kind of a blur image, जहाँ पे आप एक ऐसे situation में हैं जो आप clearly नहीं बता सकते, उसको बोलते हैं halo. और halo effect का यहाँ पे from the point of your psychology paper and from the point of your chapter 2 self and personality, this is actually defined as the behavior or the tendency to like someone. तो एक ये हम लोग रिलेट कर सकते हैं इन रिलेशन विथ इन्फैचुएशन. Infatuation is what? Some kind of a hero worship. So when you are trying or when you are liking a person and everything about him, and you are having some kind of a blur image that he is very good, he is like this, he is like that, he has all the good qualities, he has all, then more of a life creature or more from his actual identity. So that kind of a situation, when you are liking a person and when you are giving all the good adjectives to him, so that is the halo effect. जहाँ पे आप लोग एक आदमी को, एक पॉपुलर फेमस पर्सन को इतना लाइक करते हैं या इतना चाहते हैं कि उनका कोई दोष नहीं निकाल पाते और उनके बारे में सब अच्छा ही समझते हैं. That is actually the halo effect. So here we can relate halo with halo effect. So please try to understand what is the meaning of halo effect and how it can be related with your psychology paper, because a lot of input text based questions will be coming in your exam which we can relate, where you can even get questions based on halo effect, because this is frequently asked in your exam and a lot of students make confusions and they make silly mistakes while opting the correct option. Yes, what is halo effect? It is something which is related with hero worship or infatuation, or for a person to whom you like a lot and you think everything good about him. Next we have the situational stress test. This is one of the common test or practical, we can add these things, common, practical. So practically we use this kind of test to understand a person when he or she is placed in a particular situation, and that too a situation of stress. So स्ट्रेसफुल सिचुएशन में क्या होता है, एक पर्सन कैसे रिएक्ट करते हैं, कैसे कोप अप करते हैं और कैसे उस सिचुएशन को ओवरकम करते हैं, डिपेंडिंग ऑन दैट वी कैन अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट काइंड ऑफ अ मेंटेलिटी एंड व्हाट काइंड ऑफ पोटेंशियल ही और शी हैज़ इन ऑर्डर टू ओवरकम एंड टैकल a situation, and that too a stressful situation. So this is a very simple thing, but whenever the question, actually last year a question came based on these, that identify the common test which is applied by psychologists to understand a patient or psychological patient, and that is none else but the situational stress test. Because a stress is placed, and on that a kind of a situation when there is stress and the situation is tackled, a person can be identified in which way in what kind of personality he or she has. ইয়াতে কি হৈছে আপোনালোকৰ, যেতিয়া আপোনালোকে সিচুৱেশনটো হেলো ইফেক্টটো মই আৰু এবাৰ ক'বলৈ বিচাৰিছোঁ ইন এছএমএছ। হেলো ইফেক্টটো হৈছে য'ত আপোনালোকে হিৰো ৱৰ্শ্বিপ কৰে, এজন মানুহক ইমান ভাল পায় বা ইমান বিচাৰে বা ইমান এস্পায়াৰ কৰে তেনেকুৱা এটা পাৰ্চনেলিটি যে সেই মানুহজনৰ বিষয়ে আপুনি গোটেইটো ভালেই বিচাৰে বা ভালেই ভাবে বা তেওঁৰ একো বেয়া গুণ থাকিব নোৱাৰে বা তেওঁ কেনেকৈ এটা নৰ্মেল মানুহতকৈ অকণমান হ'লেও বেছি বা অলপ বহুত বেছিও হ'ব পাৰে, তেনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ ফিলিং যেতিয়া এজন পাৰ্টিকুলাৰ পাৰ্চনৰ বিষয়ে আপোনালোকৰ থাকে সেইটোক আমি কওঁ হেলো ইফেক্ট। আৰু লাষ্ট পইণ্টটো হৈছে দ্য চিটুৱেশ্যনেল ষ্ট্ৰেছ টেষ্ট। So এই টেষ্টটো হৈছে য'ত আপোনালোকে প্ৰেক্টিকেলি, ক্লিনিকেলি এণ্ড প্ৰেক্টিকেলি এই টেষ্টটো লোৱা হয় য'ত এজন মানুহক ষ্ট্ৰেছ এটা দি থোৱা হয়, ষ্ট্ৰেছফুল চিটুৱেশ্যন এটা প্লেচ কৰি দিয়া হয় তেওঁৰ সন্মুখত। ধৰি লওক নেক্সট মুহূৰ্তত আপোনাক কৈছে 10 MCQ দিয়া হ'ব, 10 মিনিটত আপোনালোকে এনচাৰ কৰিবলগীয়া হ'ব। তো সেনেকুৱা এটা ষ্ট্ৰেছফুল চিটুৱেশ্যনত আপুনি কেনেকৈ টেকল কৰিব সেই চিটুৱেশ্যনটো, সেইটোৰ ওপৰত বেছ কৰি আপোনালোকৰ পটেঞ্চিয়েলটো বুজি পোৱা যায় বা কেনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ পাৰ্চনেলিটি আপোনালোকৰ আছে সেইটো বুজি পোৱা যায়। So with this we come to the end of chapter 2 important points. Let's continue with chapter 3 because we are in a crisis of time and we need to complete the entire syllabus and the entire things, the important concepts which in relation to your psychology domain. So hope you have understood chapter 2 and all the important points. Let's continue with chapter 3 now. So chapter 3, here again what we have, the stressful situation. The stressful situation in relation to the nature, yes, ready with chapter 3. So in this what we have, the name of the chapter is meeting life challenges. So meeting life challenges এনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ হয়, from the term itself we understand that how we need to tackle our life and how we need to tackle our life challenges. So here what we have, the starting is the nature of stress, the type of stress and the terms related with stress. Now what is stress? Any kind of a situation which makes us uncomfortable is called stress. Now when we have some kind of external stress and external factors and external stimuli is there, we identify the reaction to external stressors. So we have some kind of words here. So we need to know what is stress, what is stressors, what is strain, what is distress, and what is eustress. So this is an introduction to stress itself where you need to understand what is stress. Stress एक ऐसा situation है जहाँ पे आप लोग uncomfortable feel कर सकते हैं, and the reaction to this stress is called strain. सो स्ट्रेसर्स, जो कोई भी सिचुएशन हो जो एक्सटर्नल हो, एक्सटर्नल सिचुएशन या इंटरनल सिचुएशन, देयर मे बी सम काइंड ऑफ साइकोलॉजिकल प्रॉब्लम, बायोलॉजिकल प्रॉब्लम, एक्सटर्नल प्रॉब्लम, ऑल द प्रॉब्लम्स आर आइडेंटिफाइड, जिससे जो भी आपको स्ट्रेस कॉज करते हैं उसको हम लोग बोलते हैं स्ट्रेसर्स. एक्चुअली आई शुड हैव गिवन अ डिफरेंट कलर. सो स्ट्रेस हम लोगों को मिल गया. What is stress? So any kind of uncomfortable situation. Can you see the board? Yes? Next we have stressors. Now what are stressors? They are the causes of stress. Then we have strain. Strain क्या है? It is your reaction. Reaction to external stressors. These are the concepts, core concepts related to stress. उसके अलावा हम लोगों को और दो concepts मिलते हैं, that is distress. So distress is something which is having some kind of a negative effect on our output, and eustress is something which has some kind of positive effect, okay, on our development. So these are the core concepts related to stress, nature of stress, types and the sources. So in relation to the sources and types we have already studied. So the important points in relation to your exam, number one is the psychological stress. When we are going to deal with the causes of stress, the first and the foremost which is coming, hope you all have jotted down in your rough copies. अपना लोग लिखी लो इसे, आप लोगों ने अपने अपने रफ कॉपीज़ में ये सब लिख लिया है शॉर्ट नोट्स के हिसाब से. So I am clearing. You can just jot it down. I am giving you 5 seconds. Yes. Yes, then we have the psychological stress. Now what are the causes of psychological stress which is undergoing in your psychology itself? So these stress, the first one is conflict. Conflict means any kind of a contrast or a division or difference. Then we have internal pressure and social pressure. These are the psychological causes. Next we have sources of stress. What are they? Life events. These are very important. Hassles, traumatic events. Now when you are getting a question, suppose whenever आप लोग क्या कर सकते हैं, MCQ. हम लोगों ने बहुत सारे MCQs किए हैं हम लोगों के लाइव सेशंस में एंड हम लोगों के रिकॉर्डिंग सेशंस में, जहाँ पे आप लोग इतने अच्छे तरह से वो MCQs को हैंडल कर सकते हैं. The options are so very confusing, but still you can click on to the correct option. And I need every person, every champion here to undergo this kind of session, or you go thoroughly with these sessions, because this is going to help you. हम लोगों ने some of the students, one of the student actually was asking me that ma'am please give more MCQs, आप और ज़्यादा MCQs दीजिए. But we have already done the in MCQs. We have done a lot of sessions on MCQs 1.1, 1.2, 2.1. So a list is there. If you go through the playlist, you can understand that a lot of MCQs is done, and in the recording sessions also we have done MCQs, and apart from that we have done chapter wise MCQs and some PYQs also. So please go thoroughly with those MCQs, which is going to help you, because in the MCQs there may be a question that identify the causes of stress, or click out which one or choose which one is not. So there may be questions where you will be given the option not. तो ये not word जो है it is very important, or I should have given the red color here. So not word कोई भी question में, कोई भी domain में, कोई भी paper में बहुत important है, because we overlook this word. We overlook this word and we give the option something else which is totally opposite to the question. So this word is very important because it is included in the question in order to make you confused. So be very careful while reading the question. Now what happens that you need to identify some of the points which is not the matter or which is not the concept. तो वैसे सिचुएशन में आप लोगों को ये जानना है कि what are the points which causes stress or what are the sources of stress. So here these are which you should go thoroughly. यहाँ पे मैं help कर सकती हूँ, I can explain. I can't put inside your heads because you need to understand. आप लोगों को क्या करना है ये समझ के थोड़ा बहुत symbolically manage करना है, how in your brains, in your minds. Yes. Next we have the effects. What kind of effects stress can have? So the first one is psychological effect, emotional effect, cognitive effect. Cognitive मतलब आप लोगों के समझने का तरीका, how you understand a particular thing, and these three are the effects of stress. Then we have burnout. The concept of burnout. What is burnout? Burnout is also frequently asked in your exams, where there is a situation where you are totally out of range or totally exhausted. That is called burnout. Okay. Next we have general adaptation syndrome, and what kind of symptoms? These are the symptoms of alarm reaction, resistance and exhaustion. So here what we have, there is a problem of generally adapting a situation. That is what kind of a situation? Stressful situation. And how you can generally adapt, or we have practically everyone, each one of us or most people have this syndrome. What? They have the syndrome of generally adapting or adjusting with a stressful situation, and that can be done by alarm reaction, resistance and exhaustion. At times initially it is alarm reaction, that means you understand that there is a stressful situation. After that you resist with that situation because you may not be able to cope up with the situation, and after that at last what happens? You exhaust with that situation. So that is identified as the general adaptation syndrome, GAS. So this acronym is also asked in your exams, GAS. Hope this is clear. Next we have antigens and pathogens. Now when you understand antigens, okay, next we have antigens and pathogens, and these are actually opposites. These are opposites. How? Because antigens, these are opposites, where antigens means something of an antibacterial or antibiotic. Oh yes, antibiotic. The term is something related with antibiotic, where you can be cured with some kind of a problem. And next we have pathogens. And what is pathogens? Pathogens are actually the causes or place where you will be given in a situation where you are open to diseases. So it can also be given in this, open to diseases. So these are opposites. Next we have the concepts of coping with stress and how we can cope with a situation. The first one is task oriented strategy, next we have emotional strategy, and third we have avoidance oriented strategy. That means initially we can handle the situation by doing some kind of task or executing some kind of operations or steps. Then we have emotionally also to some extent we can handle a stressful situation, because all is based on our mind, everything is in our mind, and everything can be cope up if we emotionally are strong and if we are emotionally that much resistant. And the third one is avoidance. Now when you have a situation, a stressful situation, and when you are trying to escape from the situation, that is ultimately a avoidance strategy, where when you know that a stressful situation is going to come, you escape from that, you flee from that, or you totally avoid the situation. So हम लोगों को क्या मिला? देर आर 3 टाइप्स. नंबर 1 इज टास्क ओरिएंटेड, जहाँ पे हम लोग अपने कर्म करके एक सिचुएशन को हैंडल कर सकते हैं. नेक्स्ट वी हैव इमोशंस, इफ वी कैन कंट्रोल आर इमोशंस देन ऑल्सो वी कैन हैंडल अ स्ट्रेसफुल सिचुएशन. और थर्ड में क्या मिला हम लोगों को? अवॉइडेंस. अगर कोई भी स्ट्रेसफुल सिचुएशन है तो हम लोग वहाँ से भाग सकते हैं, और नहीं तो हम लोग उस सिचुएशन को अवॉइड कर सकते हैं. वैसे भी हम लोग एक स्ट्रेसफुल सिचुएशन को कोप अप कर सकते हैं. तो आमी याते की पालो, आमी 3टा स्टेप्स पाइसो विच इज वेरी इम्पर्टेंट फ्रम योर एग्जाम्स पर्सपेक्टिव, बिकज ইয়াতে প্ৰথমতে আমি পালোঁ আমাৰ নিজৰ কৰ্ম কৰি পিনে আমি আমাৰ ষ্ট্ৰেছফুল সিচুৱেশ্যন এটা হেণ্ডেল কৰিব পাৰোঁ. সেকেণ্ডত আমি পাইছোঁ যে আমি আমাৰ ইমোশ্যনছক যদি কণ্ট্ৰল কৰিব পাৰোঁ তেনেকৈও আমি এটা ষ্ট্ৰেছফুল সিচুৱেশ্যন হেণ্ডেল কৰিব পাৰোঁ. আৰু থাৰ্ড পাইছোঁ আমি টোটেলি যদি এটা ষ্ট্ৰেছফুল সিচুৱেশ্যন এভইড কৰোঁ তেনেকৈও আমি এটা ষ্ট্ৰেছ আমি পলাই যাব পাৰোঁ, বা সেই ষ্ট্ৰেছটো যেতিয়া আমি দেখি আছোঁ যে আগন্তুক সময়ত আমি ষ্ট্ৰেছ এটা ফিল কৰিব পাৰোঁ বা ফেচ কৰিব পাৰোঁ. তাতকৈ বেটাৰ আছে আমি সেই ঠাইলৈ নাযাওঁ বা সেই সেনেকুৱা পৰিস্থিতি হ'বলৈ নিদিওঁ তেনেকৈ. চ' নেক্সট উই হেভ হাউ টু মেনেজ ষ্ট্ৰেছ. How to manage stress? There are 3 techniques: relaxation, meditation, biofeedback. One more is there. So first one is relaxation, to relax from a situation, to manage stress. So we are doing some kind of relaxation steps. Next we have meditation and yoga, which are extra. Biofeedback, that means biofeedback is the term which is asked in your exams. So what is actually biofeedback? Actually I am having some kind of a problem with the ना क्या बायोफीडबैक में क्या होता है? when you are trying to cope up or adjust or manage a stressful situation in such a way that you understand yourself, your experiences, your projection to a stressful situation. And there are 3 stages of biofeedback. Number 1 is developing an awareness of the particular psychological response. Then we have psychological response to quiet situations, and then transferring the control into the conditions of everyday life. So in biofeedback what we have, first we identify the situation, then we place and try to understand the situation, what is the situation, how it can be tackled, and third, we project the situation with our daily life or with our particular scenario or particular situation at present what you have. So that is the biofeedback technique of managing stress. The fourth one is creative visualization. And what is creative visualization? It is also very important from your exam perspective, because creative visualization is the management technique where it is a technique to deal with stress in a subjective experience and by using imagery and imagination. So this is a technique which can help you to creatively understand the situation, and also it helps you to make some kind of images so that you can handle the situation in such a way that you have some kind of fancy things, some kind of imagination, some kind of creativity in order to handle the situation. So this is very important because you try to creatively visualize the stress and manage the stress. Yes. After that, we have the important concept of hardiness. And hardiness is nothing else but it has the 3 C's, and it is this concept of hardiness was given by the concept, actually one of the psychologists. So one of the psychologists has given the concept of hardiness, which comes from the word hard, and it has the 3 C's. The 3 C's of hardiness is commitment, control and challenge, which is very important from your exam perspective because you need to identify the 3 C's, and you can't put any other C except these 3, that is commitment, control and challenge. These are 3 important concepts of hardiness, where you are hard in order to manage a stressful situation. After that, we have life skills. And what are life skills? Life skills are actually the skills which you adapt to handle a situation, and these life skills are actually life-saving skills if you go to explain or define it in a thorough manner, because these life skills are very helpful in order to manage a particular stressful situation. For example, this situation where the exam is very near, only a few days left, there is a situation where you need to adopt some of the life skills. And what are they? The first one is time management. The first one is assertiveness. Assertiveness means to be affirmative, or to have the concept of yes, yes I can do. So when you have the concept that yes, you are able to handle a situation, you have that assertiveness, you have that courage, or you have the optimism to face a situation. After that, we have the concept of time management, which is very important. I am repeatedly saying that it is your time management skill that you should undergo before an exam. Now, after that, we have rational thinking. That means thinking on the basis of some kind of analyzement or analytical way. Or we can say, then we have self-care. Self-care is also very important because I am repeatedly saying take proper care of your health, because your health is the only thing which is going to help you in your exam. So proper diet, proper exercise, proper rest. Yes, these are the self-care life skills. So life skills is also very important. Chapter 3 is actually, it has a lot of concepts which is important from your exams perspective, because there are concepts which are really confusing, and there are concepts in which you may get some kind of confusion. Next we have, okay, these are the concepts. So with this we come to the important points and important topics in relation to your chapter 3, and we will be doing lecture 4 on psychology, that is day after tomorrow. That is, the time will be mentioned in the prior to the class, because for that you need to keep a track with our website, with all the updates that we are giving, and also check your centers, that is your exam centers, because the list is out in the NTA website or Samarth website. So keep preparing. Until then, thank you for being with us.